There's a mysterious figure hidden in the vegetable market. He is a fish vendor. Despite his burly appearance, he bows and smiles nervously whenever protection money collectors show up. But is he really a coward? Not at all. He's actually a hidden gang boss. Several years ago, Dong-cheol left the underworld after marrying his beautiful, gentle wife. To provide his wife with a worry-free life, he settled into selling fish at the seafood market. Now he's set aside his former edge, bowing to everyone he meets and even suggesting a calm discussion when someone rear-ended his car while driving with his wife. What he never expected was the driver throwing a wad of cash at him through a crack in the window, deeply humiliating him. Drowning in debt, Dong-cheol gritted his teeth and picked up the money bill by bill. His wife couldn't take it anymore and rushed out, cursing the driver viciously. "I'm calling the police," she shouted. At that moment, the car's owner in the back seat was pressing down on a young woman. He glanced at Dong-cheol's wife once before his lecherous eyes locked onto her. Then he rushed out of the car and slapped the driver across the face. After disciplining his subordinate, he brought her to apologize to Dong-cheol and his wife. Seeing the man handle things civilly, Dong-cheol left with his wife. But he didn't know this was just the beginning of the disaster. The next evening, his wife was waiting in bed when someone pounded on their door. Sensing danger, she peeked through the peephole and saw a menacing face pressed against it. The door lock began to turn and the wife backed away in terror. The next second, a man in black broke in. She ran to the bedroom, locked the door, and frantically dialed for help. Before they could make the call, another person in black smashed through the window and came in. The frail woman had nowhere to escape and was thus dazed by them. The mastermind turned out to be the man involved in the rear-end collision, a perverted loan shark who trafficked women, kidnapping beautiful ones to sell abroad at premium prices. Meanwhile, Dong-cheol returned home to find shattered glass everywhere and his wife missing. He realized something was wrong, and Dong-cheol rushed out into the pouring rain only to find himself already surrounded by his 3,000 subordinates. He went to the police station to ask for help with the investigation. After the police finished the procedures, they told him to go home and wait for news. Dong-cheol got a call from an unknown number as he left the police station. The arrogant gang leader called and threatened that if he went to the police again, his beloved wife would be passed around by hundreds of his subordinates. Then the crime boss arranged to meet Dong-cheol alone at a restaurant. But when Dong-cheol arrived at the designated seat, he only saw a phone and a leather bag. After a short while, the phone rang, and the boss instructed him to open the package. Dong-cheol opened the bag and was astonished to find it filled with money, leaving him completely bewildered. "That's the price for your wife," the gang boss explained. They'd kidnapped her and was selling her like merchandise. Dong-cheol's anger level instantly soared to the peak, and he swore to find him and give him a beating. But he was no longer the big brother he once was, so he had to take the money to the police station. Who knew the police mocked him as the scum who sold his wife for cash? They withheld the money and sent him away with a few perfunctory words. On his way out, Dong-cheol noticed a wall covered with photos of missing girls who had been gone for 4 or 5 years without being found. This forced Dong-cheol to act personally, and the martial arts world, which had been peaceful for 20 years, was likely to erupt in bloodshed. His revenge plan started soon. Firstly, Dong-cheol first used his connections to find Boss Jeong, who could find anyone. But without money and unable to even afford gas, Dong-cheol had no choice but to go to the market boss. The market leader owed Dong-cheol a large sum of money, which he urgently needed to rescue a kidnapped person. He said, "Why should I repay money I borrowed using my own skills?" He even called some guys over to teach him a lesson. Dong-cheol doesn't waste words, slamming him straight to the ground. Seeing Dong-cheol's impressive strength, several guys decided to team up against him. After all that action, Dong-cheol hadn't even broken a sweat. There was still one big piece left. To everyone's surprise, the big guy was so terrified he nearly wet himself, begging the boss to return the money immediately. The market boss's attitude changed in an instant. "Actually, I've had the money ready all along," he stammered. "I was just messing with you before." With the cash in hand, Dong-cheol frantically rushed off to find Boss Jeong. Money makes things happen. Boss Jeong guaranteed on his honor they could find the person within an hour. Sure enough, based on surveillance footage, they quickly identified a car. Afterward, Boss Jeong pretended to be a prosecutor and got the owner's information from the car dealer. Turns out the car owner was a gambling addict who had sold his license plate 2 months ago to pay off debts. With this information, they sped off to the underground black market for license plate trading. The madam in charge, learning of their intentions, immediately called 300 brothers to welcome the guests. Dong-cheol rolled up his sleeves, ready to get down to business, when Boss Bear stepped in to stop him. No need. None of you need to do anything. Let me handle it. I'm really good at this song. I thought he was a champion, but it turns out he's a loser." Dong-cheol said, "Let me take care of this." He lunged forward with a powerful punch that the thug couldn't block, sending him crashing hard onto the table. With another buffalo-like charge, he sent them back to their mother's womb. The proprietress tried to make a run for it, but Red Hat blocked her escape with a swift split. Cornered, she had no choice but to spill the intel, handing Dong-cheol a business card with the contact person's details. When Dong-cheol went looking for him, he discovered the place had already changed hands. "I thought we came all this way for nothing," but then Dong-cheol spotted a suspicious car parked on the side of the road. The driver of the car blocked his way the night his wife vanished. Dong-cheol shattered the glass with a single punch and growled, "Let's have a little chat outside," terrifying the driver, who stomped on the gas pedal, dragging Dong-cheol along with the car. Dong-cheol was thrown to the ground, rolling 3 times. He'd settle this score later, all at once. Later, with some outside help, Dong-cheol tracked down the driver who rear-ended him and aggressively backed him into a corner. Surprisingly, the guy was quite tough. The driver was hung up and beaten until he was foaming at the mouth, but still refused to talk, unexpectedly resilient. The gang boss, discovering his underling had been captured, makes a threatening video call to Dong-cheol. During the call, he brutally murders Dong-cheol's driver right before his eyes, then proceeds to torture Dong-cheol's wife by repeatedly forcing her underwater, her desperate struggles visible on screen. If he didn't kill his wife, he'd be dead on the spot. With tears streaming down his face, Dong-cheol reluctantly grabbed a rope and strangled the driver, sending him to meet his maker. After hanging up the phone, Dong-cheol slapped the driver lying on the ground to wake him up. Turns out he had pulled a fake death trick. Having escaped death, the driver, seeing how heartless his boss was, confessed everything about his boss's operation of selling women. Meanwhile, Dong-cheol's wife was locked up with a group of women in some building. Just like Dong-cheol's wife, she landed a ball-busting kick right to the guard's crotch. With help from the other women, they pried open the iron window and jumped across a gap of several dozen meters with eyes closed. She ran frantically, flagged down a taxi and headed for the police station. But just steps away from the police station, the gang leader appeared and recaptured her. Dong-cheol burst in, radiating menace as he made his way up to the second floor. Suddenly, a henchman lunged out from nowhere. This henchman was no match for him at all, with Dong-cheol bluntly stating, "None of them can even fight." A beast had entered the hallway, making the entire building shake in fear. The scream scared the thugs inside, who quickly locked their doors and armed themselves with knives. Suddenly, a punch sent him flying meters away through the door. "Stop being so flashy and sit down." Dong-cheol persevered all the way through. A gang of thugs tried stabbing him with knives, but with smooth movements of both hands, Dong-cheol sent 3 tough guys to their doom. After the battle, Dong-cheol only suffered a minor injury. A truly fierce opponent appeared behind him, a towering and robust man who sent Dong-cheol flying over a yard. Good, finally someone who can actually fight. He gripped Dong-cheol's throat and punched him square in the face, but his strength was no match for his. Dong-cheol grabbed his waist and thrust his head straight into the ceiling, leaving him hanging like a sausage. "Have another heavy punch, taste the power of my fist." Ignoring his own injuries, he rushed to the room where the girl was being held but found no one there. Meanwhile, his 2 assistants had eliminated the other gangsters outside and successfully rescued the women who were about to be trafficked. But Dong-cheol's wife wasn't among them. He quickly gave chase and ran head-on into the gang leader who had recaptured his wife. "I've confirmed with my eyes, this is the person I need to take down." Full-speeding chase. Dong-cheol floored it, hunting down the gang leader's vehicle in a high-speed street chase. Suddenly, Dong-cheol accelerated hard, sending the gang leader's car into a complete 360-degree spin. Furious, the gang leader taunted his wife in the back seat. "You crash into me? I dare you." Fearing for his wife's safety, Dong-cheol dared not be so reckless. The gang leader exploited his inattention and rammed his car onto the road. The gang leader drew an axe, planning to finish him off, and stood on the car roof, banging it loudly. Unexpectedly, a powerful arm yanked him inside the car. The vehicle shook violently. The struggle inside was brutal. When the gang leader emerged again, he was barely alive. He knelt on the ground, begging for mercy. "I was wrong. Please be generous and forgive me." Then he pulled out a knife, holding it to his own throat, threatening suicide. Dong-cheol just quietly watched him perform. As Dong-cheol approached, he was planning a sneak attack. Dong-cheol, tough and taciturn, gestured with his fingers, then delivered a series of punches to the face. Dong-cheol literally educated him for half an hour. Afterward, Dong-cheol woke his unconscious wife, and she, covered in wounds, embraced him tightly. And the movie ends here. Thank you for watching, and please give a thumbs up and subscribe.